Welcome to Retro Rewind. Get ready to dust off the VHS tapes and journey back in time with us. Whether you're a seasoned cinephile or a curious time traveler, our podcast is your portal to the past. So grab your Walkman, adjust your tracking, and let's dive into the world of Tapeheads.
In this comedy, JohnCusack and Tim Robbins stars two ex-security guards trying to hustle their way into the music video production business and ultimately embark on a mission to resurrect the career of their favorite R&B duo, the Swanky Modes. From Chicken Waffle commercials to punk music videos, coordinated handshakes to two ninja bitches about to kill each other. Does this eclectic cult film deliver on the laughs? Let's find out. Let's explore Tapeheads.
Oh man, we've been wanting to do this one since we had the idea to do this podcast. So this is different. This Retro Rewind podcast is gonna be different than our traditional regular FlickFlops episodes, where we kind of look at bad movies that are generally considered bad movies. Retro Rewind is where we're going to go back and look at films that they may still be floppy, but we like them. And we want to give these films the credit, let them see the light of day again. Tapeheads is one that Gary and I have watched multiple times, and it's a big favorite of ours. It's a cult classic, and you should watch it. And that's what the whole idea behind the Retro Rewind is to just open people's eyes to these films that are sitting out there that you may not have heard of. And technically, this thing, when we go down some of these numbers, it is a flop.
Yeah. And I also think
in these eyes.
I also think we're getting a chance to talk about movies that, like you said, not a lot of people necessarily know about, but they're near and dear to our hearts. I wouldn't say that they're all going to come back and we're going to be as enthused with them as we were upon, I mean, a lot of these are from our younger years or even our childhood. And so when we do any of the ones that are Retro Rewind, we're just going to let you know whether they're worth going back to watch or not, or if you missed it, whether you should be watching it.
That's a fair line right there. Our hindsight, man, is 2020, as they say.
Yeah.
Because I think, Gary, seriously, out of all of our circle of friends, how many do you think actually know the film Tapeheads and actually like the film Tapeheads?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, I feel like, I feel like it's we've quoted it so many times that I just can't imagine any of our friends not having seen it. But you never know, because just because you repeated a line from a movie a million times and everybody picks up on it, you don't know who's seen it, who hasn't. They may just be regurgitating the funny lines that we've said from it. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that prime example is my wife upstairs. She recites a line from a movie that I know she has not seen. And we will be doing an episode about that sooner or later. But she's never seen the movie, but she quotes the line all the time. And I'm like, awesome, because you don't even know what it's from.
Right.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So you want to dive into some of this real quick? I got a couple numbers here for it. We won't do our typical format, but I do have a few numbers I'd like to share with everybody on this one.
Yeah, I didn't actually look up any of the numbers, so I'm kind of curious.
So this film came out in 1988. I don't have the actual release date, but it came out in 1988. Rotten Tomatoes technically has this at 60 with the critics, 46 with the audience. Now, I think the audience is being a little harsh. This film is fantastic. I do not have any budget numbers. Just couldn't find them anywhere. The sad number is the box office, Gary. $129,000.
Oh, ugh. This has had to have been a limited release movie.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I know I didn't see it in the theater.
No. I mean, I don't even know how or when I saw this movie, but it was back in the days when you and I were both working at video stores back in the 80s, early 90s, and JohnCusack, who brought me to it.
Definitely.
Going through a phase of watching his films. And a mutual friend of ours, Doug Davis, huge Cusack fan.
Shout out.
Yeah, I mean, he'll never watch this. It doesn't matter.
He might. Shout out.
Really. I'm sure he brought it onto my radar. I watched it. You watched it. I don't know if we were living together at the time we watched it, but instantly, like, I'm watching this movie. I'm like, holy crap. This was like seeing Clerks for the first time for me. I saw Clerks for the first time when I was like oh my God, this movie was made for me. Tapeheads was very similar.
Yeah. I don't remember when I saw it. I know, obviously, I saw it on video, and I know it was probably a result of working in the store or you working in the store. I think you worked in the video store before I did.
Yeah.
I wish I could recall the actual memory, but yeah, it was instant classic to me. I mean, I love the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I have a VHS copy of it. I wasn't able to find it because when I've moved, all my VHS tapes are put away somewhere and I can't find them right now. But I own a VHS copy of this, and I have a CD single of one of the songs in it because I just loved the song, which we will talk about as we move through the film.
I bought that. It's on the way. I've got a used copy of the CD coming.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. Besides
I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, besides it being just a cult film, and this is along the lines of like, like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Is it really a good movie?
Yeah,
but people love it. That's the same thing here. I mean, this I think is a better film than I'm not trying to compare the two, but as a film, like you can sit and watch this and it's entertaining and it makes sense. Rocky Horror, you got to do the dancing and all that fun stuff for that film to really be enjoyable. Because as a movie, it's just not a great movie. I mean, no one's gonna sit down and go, "Oh, let's watch Rocky Horror tonight," and not dance any of the numbers. Let's just sit and watch it.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've watched it a few times and not danced.
Weirdo.
So
he'll edit that out. Do you see a little glitch here? That was Gary talking about watching Rocky Horror.
I did not. I just think that that is another movie that maybe we should watch at some point, bring up, because there's some story to go along with that as well.
I'm very willing to watch that movie.
Let's talk about real quick. There are quite a few cameos in this movie, and I don't know if you want to talk about that, or I got a list here. I could run down the list.
Go ahead.
Talk a little bit about them.
Go ahead.
Some of them have a little bit more of a story to mention than others, but I think they're all interesting cameos in the film. Some of them are a little bit larger role than others, but among them, Connie Stevens, Lyle Alzado.
Yes.
The dude from Seinfeld is what I wrote down, and I looked him up, and it's Lee Ehrenberg. For some reason, that guy, I think he was only in a couple episodes of Seinfeld. Every time I see him, that's what I think about is Seinfeld. He probably has been in many other things. Yeah. He's the boss security guard.
Oh,
that's who that guy is.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yes, and that's when I had to pause. Like, wait a minute, did I just see Bobcat? I had to go back.
Yeah, this was back. You know what was funny about the Bobcat is the Bobcat story part for me. For the longest time, I thought he talked like that. And, we're talking 88 when this movie came out. So I don't know if this was my first time seeing him
right
for real, and realizing, wait a minute, he's not doing the stuttering thing and everything that he done on stage as that persona. But so I don't know if this was that movie that revealed it to me, but it is right around the same kind of time period that I would have realized that. I have the Higgins boys written down. Steve and David Anthony Higgins.
Yes.
Steve, the band leader for The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, I think. Not the band leader, the
MC.
MC. That's perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Famous for the Higgins boys and Gruber skit that we used to see some of the comedy stuff they did that we thought was funny back in the day. Michael Nesmith, of course, he is in it briefly. He was a producer on the film, correct?
Yes.
He has a small cameo. Weird Al is in it for a split second. Ted Nugent, Dougie Fresh, Mo Fuzz, played by Don Cornelius.
Let's get into trouble, baby.
I don't know if I would have liked to have looked it up. I don't know if he has any other acting roles. But
I don't either.
My gosh, he's great in this. I mean, he's just so funny in it.
He plays his part perfectly.
Oh, yeah. Jessica Walter, I wrote her down because of not only voice from Archer's mom, but also from Arrested Development.
Oh yeah, shoot.
I got Mary Crosby, Clu Gulager. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Sure.
You know who I'm talking about?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Do you know the reference to him that I thought we might want to discuss for a second?
Go ahead.
His son, John, I think his name was John. He directed Feast, which was a Project Greenlight, like the third season of Project Greenlight.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's his dad, who actually played in Feast, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. There's a little. Man. There's a rewind for you.
Oh my neck hurts from that one.
Yeah.
Man, you dug deep on that.
I didn't have to. These are just stupid little trivial things stuck in my head.
I love that show.
John Marshall Jones is one of the hitmen, not one of the two. We're just one of the guys. It's like a security guard or whatever for Clue's character.
Yeah, he's a senator.
Fumbling over my words. Yeah, senator. I was like, that guy looks so familiar. And for some reason, I remember liking him in something, and I could not remember what it was. I looked him up, and he's got so many, like a few of these people have so many roles. You recognize their face, but you don't remember exactly from what.
Yeah.
John Doe. I don't know if you remember that show.
I never watched it.
Okay. He was a main character in that. I think he might have played a cop. I don't recall exactly, but I remember him from that. Xander Berkeley is in it.
Who I famously know mostly from Walking Dead.
Right. Yeah.
But, I mean, but when you see his face, you're like, I've seen him in everything.
And another one that you could go down a very long list and see all kinds of stuff he was in. Much like the bartender who I was like, I know him from something and I don't know what. And I still am not sure because there are so many things that he's been in, multiple television roles, like all over the place. But he's got that familiar face. Found out a little side note, born in Cincinnati.
Nice.
Fishbone.
Yeah.
As
hostile.
Playing as Ranchbone.
Yeah.
In the movie. Martha Quinn reprising a role of a VJ, but for RVTV.
RVTV.
And Courtney Love.
Uncredited Courtney Love.
Yeah, which I did. Yeah, we talked about this pre-production that had to go back and watch it. Like, where is she at?
I know, like, because if you pull up like the Wikipedia, it lists her, and I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
And, like, if you click on, there's one place I looked, I think it was maybe it's Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb, and there's a hyperlink that takes you to a scene, and I'm watching the scene. I'm like, yeah, that's not Courtney Love. Like, I'm up on the TV, you know, and I finally saw it, and then I read a little thing that said she just real quick, she's in the background. So I mean,
yeah. If you look, there are two moments. I kind of, in a way, I don't really want to spoil anything about the movie because I do want to encourage people to watch it. Even if they've seen it before, they should go back and watch it.
Yeah.
But the first time that they show the tape that becomes a big deal in the show or in the movie, you don't see her in that part that I know of unless she is in the background. No. She's a little bit more prominent when the tape is shown again later. In a very pivotal moment in the movie, but it's still, the tape is kind of played fast. So it's a blink and miss it part for sure. Absolutely. Like it's very difficult to see her, but she is in it, which is very strange. That's pretty much the cast. There's a lot of other people in it.
And when I throw out there that you did, that I had on my thing was a Stiv Bators, who was the lead singer of the Blender Children. But the Blender Children is a band that's in the movie. They're actually the band is the Lords of the New Church, and Baders is the lead singer of that band. Another little Buckeye tie. He's from Youngstown, Ohio.
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm not a huge Lords of the New Church fan, and he's actually passed away at a relatively young age. Stiv did. I don't have the info in front of me, but yeah, Stiv Baders. Here's to you, man. I'll drink some. Our sponsor, Liquid Death. Not really our sponsor at all.
Neither is Shure Microphones.
So we don't have to spend a ton of time. Let's just a couple of the scenes. I mean, what makes this movie worth watching? I mean, I've got a list of scenes here. I'm sure you do too, Gary. Probably a lot of the same scenes. The Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles commercial.
Love it.
And if Gary's going to do post work right about here is where he's going to drop a clip of that or a video of come to Roscoe's, just chicken and waffles. That's great.
Yo, friends, check this out. Roscoe's the name, and they call me the king. Grandmaster of the chicken and the waffle thing. I sit now, read my lips, and friends, don't miss a word, cause the Grandmaster's gonna give you the bird.
Another great scene for me personally is Cube Squared, Gary.
Cube Squared.
With their song, Baby Doll.
Is that the single that you have somewhere?
That is the single I have, and I mean, I'm so irritated. I endeavored to find it. I don't know why, because I would just show it to the camera. But I think I just want people to believe I truly did buy this
Yeah.
Somewhere in the 90s, I bought this CD single because first of all, the song to me is funny. And it's very catchy, but it's written and performed by Devo.
Right.
Which, when you watch the movie, the band Cube Squared is Swedish.
Yeah.
So they sing, the verses are in Swedish.
Yeah.
And then it's baby doll, and it's catchy, and of course we both have the great Video Aces.
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you what. Well, I'll put as many clips of this in as I can.
Yeah.
We'll see what I get away with. So I will throw some stuff in here.
Yeah, and I don't want to step on what you might mention, but the Video Aces scene is one of our all-time favorites, and
oh my gosh, I love it.
Are you guys rolling? Okay. And the rest of my state shall be divided equally among my great-great-grandchildren. Okay? Oh, and be sure to pay Video Aces, my favorite video company. They're terrific guys. You get a lot for your dollar. Getting late. I'm gonna go to sleep now.
Great, that's a wrap. Nice working with you, Roland.
And one that we've said since we saw this movie, and I still say it today, is sign my butt, teach me to read.
Are you guys famous?
It's Mendo. It's an awesome. Come on, let's try again. Sabotage, man.
This is just Danny. I put my butt on the line for you guys. You blew it.
Fixing nothing, you look.
Forget it. You suck.
Just a second.
Are you guys famous? How'd I look? Hey, congratulations. Sign my butt. Teach me to read.
I mean, if you could pull up just one scene to put in here, Gary, put that scene in, because it is it's iconic, at least to our little circle of friends, because we say it. I mean, I know so many people that say that they have no idea what they're talking about.
Right.
That comes from this movie. There's a great alphabet sobriety scene.
I'm surprised we haven't ever tried to do that, though.
I get intimidated by it because they have to. What is it, Gary? They have to
say the alphabet backwards, signing each letter as they go past it, skipping all of the vowels. Yes.
And they do it flawlessly in sync together. I think I mentioned before, one little thing that I thought was just, they took a lot of care to put little things that were so unnecessary. And I'm going to refer to there's a scene in the warehouse where they're being robbed, and they have a video surveillance system that basically is just video screens and a guy dressed as a cop saying, "Stop! Who goes there?" You know.
Right.
So it's a pre-set-up pre-roll of stuff. So it's motion sensor. So as you go by, the cop will show up on another video screen, like, "Don't make me draw my gun" and stuff like that. But as they go on, the scene turns into kind of a party.
Mm-hmm.
And they're dancing, and there's some limbo, and they're all having a good time. And the pre-recorded cop who answers Ivan when he says something to him, and then the cop is in the video, he's dancing,
right.
which is not really possible because it's supposed to be pre-recorded. But that little stuff like that, it's those things like you watch it, like, wait a minute, you rewind and go, the cop's dancing, like that can't be. And this film is filled with stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just filled with. So if you're one of those people that like to catch, I don't want to say they're Easter eggs because it's not hidden stuff, so to speak, but it's little continuity finds.
It's just little attention to detail that they've done.
That's not necessary.
I don't know. That's what I think I like so much about it. I was telling you that I had recently gone back when he watched it for this, I saw something that I'd never seen before in the movie. And it's a very small moment, but there is a part where a guy's carrying like a sandwich and 3 cans of pop. They're cans.
Yeah.
And he turns and one of them falls out of his hand. And if you listen, it sounds like glass breaking. So, I mean, they've even got like the people that work the sound.
The Foley people
have even gone in and added a touch in this movie.
Had a little fun.
It's just hilarious. There's just tiny little things here and there
And then the soundtrack, the Swanky Modes, which is the fictional band in the thing that these guys love, and they're just a couple of R&B guys, but the music is outstanding.
Yeah,
and it's stuff that stuck with us since we saw it. We would sing their songs, and the ordinary man would have given it up by now. And what's the other song? I'm drawing a blank now. But
there's the bet your bottom dollar.
Yeah, bet your bottom dollar.
Yeah, there's another one too. I thought cannot recall what that one was, but I think you covered a lot of the.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do anything else I missed,
I will say another quotable moment that we discovered that we've been saying wrong all this time. I have no idea why we hung on to this moment, but it's when Tim Robbins is trying to get Cusack's attention because the Swanky Modes, who we've said they love this band so much, are currently in the bar that they're at, and they're sitting at the bar. And I don't remember what Tim Robbins does, but he's coming back, and after seeing them, he's trying to get Cusack to recognize him, and he's like, dude, check it out, Bill and Lester, Swanky Modes. For some reason, we got it in our head that it was like, dude, Modes, dude. And I think it was just our abbreviated version, but we've said that for 20 something years.
Yes,
dude, Modes.
Yeah, dude, Modes. And then find out that we're doing it wrong.
Right. Fine. Yeah. But you know what? Just that happens a lot.
But I don't care. I'm still going to do it.
Me too. Dude Modes. It's hilarious. Yeah. I don't know. There's just so many great parts about this movie. I don't want to beat it to death with all the scenes. I'd like to leave it, for somebody watching now and they're trying to determine if this is for them. What would you put what kind of category? It's obviously a comedy, but I would say if you're a fan of Cusack, and especially his early comedies, his character is a lot like a lot of the stuff he's played before prior to this.
Yes.
It's in that vein. It's in the Better Off Dead-ish type vein, that kind of.
And you got a Tim Robbins way before he becomes Andy Dufresne, who crawls through 500 yards of human feces for his freedom.
Oh, Andy.
You got this guy. He's a big zero. You're a zero.
You're right. Let's see.
Here's the thing. If you are a fan of this, is going deep on a cult classic. If you like the film Repo Man, this will be in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So, if you're someone who likes cult films, offbeat films, films that not everybody's going to like, this is for you. And it is a treasure for me and Gary. I mean, it's between the two of us. It's. I mean, what'd you say earlier, Gary? It's climbing up your list.
It is. Every time I watch it, it's not a movie that grows old to me.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I feel like there's a lot of times now granted, I don't watch this movie like every week or anything, but maybe once every couple of years I'll watch it. And every time I do, I really enjoy it. I mean, we just watched it a couple of years ago at the cabin when we had a guys weekend cabin thing. We watched it then. Whenever that was the last time I saw it. And I loved it even more.
Still laughed at it then. I mean, you and I were laughing at it.
Yeah.
Not anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those films. I mean, because we've recently watched a couple of classic rewind films that we're gonna talk about in future episodes, and some don't hold up.
Yeah,
some the memory is better. It's better. It's Better Off Dead. You can quote me on that.
Yeah, sometimes they're better up here.
They're better off in the head.
They're better here than they. Yeah.
So this one is not that way. This one, we don't do our ratings on these films, but this is definitely, if I was to give it anything, I give it a thumbs up. This is a great film. However, said that, I don't know who I would recommend this to.
Yeah, that is one of the things.
So if I'd have questions before I say to you should watch this film. Like, what do you like?
Yeah.
If you go like, well, I love mafia movies. Yeah, don't watch this.
My favorite genre is mafia.
And then John Wick. Well, okay, then this is not for you, bro.
No.
So if you looked at me and said, man, I like Repo Man and like Hairspray, I'm like, you might like this film. This might be in your it's quirky.
Definitely. And getting closer to the top of my list every watch.
And I definitely love the video essays. They're
really great guys. Can you imagine somebody watching this and rushing to watch the movie and they going, these guys are stupid?
I don't know who's stupider. These two are the video aces.
Oh my gosh. If you're into quirky comedies, please give it a watch and let us know what you think.
Definitely chime in on the Facebook, and I'd love to have a discussion about Tapeheads with anybody.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it.
I'd like to know how many fans are already. There are people that are already fans of this movie that are in the group.
Absolutely.
And then who watches it and becomes a fan. That's what I want to know.
Yes, you're our kind of people.
All right. Well, let's close out this episode of Retro Rewind. Thanks for joining us. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
And be kind.
As the kids say. It's a good ending right there.
This has been a Touch of Madness production, brought to you by the creative minds at Tommy Twins Media.